Welcome to Subramani. A couple of days ago, I tweeted about sequence of return risk, and I said getting negative returns first and then getting positive returns is not a good thing, because the total amount that you have in the corpus at the end of the journey, this is not a very good thing to happen. Now let me change my view, in the sense that there are three situations. One is you put in a lump sum and you don't add to it, you don't reduce from it, right? So then the sequence of return risk does not exist. You got bad returns, then you got good returns, you make up for the bad returns and the good returns, which means you're trying to say 3 into 2 into 1 is equal to 1 into 1 is to 2 is to 3. It does not really matter whether you got the higher returns first or the lower returns first, right? But look at another case when you are a young 22-year-old investor and you're just starting to invest. You've got very little money, you're doing 5,000 rupees per month SIP. And you are getting very poor returns initially, right? You're getting say minus 25, minus 10, minus 6, and then you're getting 25, 32, minus 5, right? So that kind of return, it is actually good for you because you have less to lose. So when you have less to lose, you have only 60,000 rupees in the first year, so a 30% fall would mean loss of only 18,000 rupees. But when it is much later that you want higher returns on your portfolio, right? So this 22-year-old boy couldn't care what is the sequence of returns that he is getting. If he should choose the sequence, if he could choose the sequence, he should choose getting negative returns first, because now he has less to lose. He will accumulate more at lower and lower NAVs. He will accumulate more money. So therefore he should get the negative returns first and then start getting positive returns after he has built a corpus. This is for the 22-year-old. What about the 50-year-old? For him, does it really matter? No, again it doesn't matter, because he is still adding. What happens to a person who is say 70 years of age and who is withdrawing a fixed amount? Let's say is withdrawing say 6,000 rupees per month per annum on a 1 lakh rupee portfolio. 6% is what he is withdrawing. Then the negative returns coming first can hit very badly, because your 1 lakh has fallen 25%, it has become 75,000. Out of 75,000 you withdraw 6,000, so you are now at 69,000. Next year again you get a minus 10%, so you've lost another say approximately 7,000 rupees. So you now have 62,000. Out of 62,000 again you withdraw 6,000. Now you have come down to 56,000. So with two poor returns and another 5% withdrawal, you have hurt your portfolio very badly. Now what happens is, when your 1 lakh becomes 50,000 in 3 years, it's very scary for a person who has only that 1 lakh to live off, right? It could be 1 crore for all I care, it could be 10 crores, but for that person, when the fall is so huge, he or she gets scared and completely withdraws, saying, oh my god, this market is dangerous. What happens if it falls another 25%, right? It may or may not fall, it could improve. So it is important to sit tight during such periods, and therefore we have the bucket theory and things like that. So three situations. One, when you are not adding to your corpus, then sequence of return does not matter. When you are investing more, sequence of returns is actually beneficial if you get the negative returns first, because you're getting more and more. And when you're putting higher and higher amounts, let's say first year you were putting 5,000 rupee SIP, next year you're putting 5,500 at a lower NAV, you're obviously getting more units. Third year you're putting 6,000 again at lower and lower NAV, because first year you got minus 25, second year you got minus 10. The conviction to stay through the journey is being tested, so it's important for you to sit through. However, at an older age, when you're withdrawing, let's say you're 75 years of age and you're going to live off your corpus, and your corpus is 100,000 and you have to withdraw 6,000, then it hurts for you to get negative returns first. So if you draw up chart showing first initially you got negative returns and then you got positive returns, that's good for the younger investor. It's bad for the older investor who is in the withdrawal phase. So whether sequence of return risk, whether the risk of sequence of return matters. Three situations. One, when you are not adding any amount or not reducing any amount, the sequence of risk, the sequence of return doesn't really matter. When you are adding amounts, then getting negative returns first is useful. If you are withdrawing, then it is important to get positive returns first, so that after the corpus becomes bigger, yes, you are likely to lose more money, but if you don't have enough money initially, if too much of it is withdrawn and you go to 50% of your corpus in the third year, good chance that you will shut down and completely and say, no, I don't want to be in equities, let me shift the whole thing to bank deposit, and that could be worse because inflation could eat it faster, right? So you pick up something like an asset allocator fund, so that you assume that the fluctuation will be less. It has got some debt, it has got equity, it has got foreign equity, it has got gold, maybe it has got real estate, right? So this combination of assets, you are happier to get negative returns if you are a beginner. You want positive returns first if you are a person who is withdrawing and who has got limited resources. You don't want to run out of money if you have no money to compound, because already in 3 years you have down to 50% of your portfolio. After that, the portfolio has to now grow 100% to reach where you were 3 years ago. So that's going to be very difficult. So if you're withdrawing, you want positive returns first. If you're investing, you want negative returns first. So the arithmetic mean, geometric mean of your returns will all be constant. That doesn't change whether you got minus 10, minus 10, minus 10, and 10, 10, 10, or whether you got 10, 10, 10, and minus 10, minus 10, minus 10. So depending on which stage you are, sequence of risk, sequence of return matters. So if it's for a withdrawing person, sequence, the risk of getting poorer returns initially is very high. This was brought to me because I'm doing this video because when I posted this on Twitter, somebody called and I had a slightly controversial conversation with him, in the sense that I said, no, your sequence of risk matters. So he said, no, it doesn't matter if you're not withdrawing. He's right. So of course, younger person, smarter person, his name is Vish, he's from US, NRI. So he called up and said, look, this you have to amplify further, because not everybody will understand what you've said. So I stand corrected. Yes, sequence of the returns matters, and I've said it enough number of times now, I guess. Thank you.